Prologue. The Dark Lord Gortys woke abruptly. What had disturbed his slumber? It was only noon, nowhere near sunset. The mage stone in the serpent ring on his pinky finger glowed a lurid red. So, one of the Argus line had survived and was using magic. And where there was an Argus, there was usually a Tate. His taloned fingers curled into a fist that he eyed with distaste. He really should do something about his transformation one of these days, but not today. The signs of his favorite habit could linger a little while longer. He'd waited a century to wipe out the heirs of his enemies, to feed off their magic and gain the greatest of the mage stones, the Star of Jolinest. The Tate heir would find it and lead him to it. The sorcerer rose and kicked his lackey. Wake up, you little village idiot! Rouse the changelings and tell them I have a job for them. He chuckled and regarded his graying skin with distaste. Somewhere in the land is an Argus mage, and where there's an Argus mage, there is a Tate sorcerer. Find them and bring them to me, alive! And find that luft a cat wench. She should have been mine already. He looked at his hands once more. He thought. Maybe he should get a manicure on the claws to disguise them. The slave girl would probably know how to do it. If not, she would learn quickly under the lash. A cock crowed and Poke's eyes flew open. He yawned, stretched, and ran his fingers through his tangled curly locks. The cock crowed again, and Poke groaned. Dim light filtered through the glass window. It was dawn. He'd best be up and about before Master Regan noticed his absence. Regan Argus had been in a vile temper lately. Poke rolled off his straw cot and sighed. Ignoring the ghostly skeleton that popped through the wall, Poke dressed rapidly in his patched tunic and breeches. Then he galloped downstairs, his bare feet pattering on the wood. The boy stopped and leaned over the polished oak banister. A large brick room was devoid of floor sleepers, and 6 of the 7 trestle tables were unoccupied. The flames burning in the great stone fireplace to dispel the morning chill kept turning green, blue, red, and purple. The smoke smelled odd, like sweet burning herbs, and strange demonic little faces flickered in the flames. An occasional moan came from the inn's brick walls. The main hall of the Dancing Dragon Inn held exactly 2 occupants seated at a table made for 6. Poke observed the duo with interest. The barbarian sat with his head on the table, snoring lustily. Ghostly spiders crawled in and out of his mouth, and phantom rats scampered over the table. The other brave soul was the visiting wizard. He wore brown, so he wasn't a Grand Master wizard. But then, there hadn't been a Master Mage since Erasmus Tate I, Poke's great-grandfather. Ignoring the haunted sights, sounds, and smells, the wizard ate heartily of Poke's mother's pastries, sidement, and coddled eggs. He washed it down with expensive hot chocolate. Poke winced. Master Regan always swore at the cost of the stuff and had searched desperately for the secret of its origins. The cost of chocolate was dear, but the exotic drink usually brought in the guests. Regan Argus swore at the price of cinnamon and salt, too, and the wizard was consuming enough for several guests. But then nobody else was here, so why not? Poke licked his lips and swallowed, taking a sharp glance around. Nobody was in sight, so, again, why not? If Regan Argus caught him eating the guest's food, he might get a beating, but Poke was tired and full. His stomach growled demandingly, and if the wizard was friendly, he'd have a protector. The wizard absently flicked at the ghostly spiders crawling on his cinnamon loaf. Obviously, they didn't spoil his appetite. Even the skeletal ghost of a cat chasing the phantom rats drew no attention from the wizard. The wizard made a gesture, and the phantom rats vanished, but the cat just seated itself on the barbarian's head and began to bathe its bones. Poke took another look around and winced again. No sign of Jarby. Young Master Jarby was probably with Yaneth again. Poke sighed. He'd have to cover for his friend should Master Argon notice his absence. The wizard hadn't so much as raised an eyebrow about any of the food, so Poke thought it must be safe to eat. Ghost skeletons were one thing, but Poke was leery of rats, real or not. Poke loped into the main room and plopped down beside the wizard, helping himself to the hot chocolate cinnamon loaves and fried side meat. What few guests were left weren't eating, and Poke wasn't one to let good food go to waste. There was enough here for a dozen guests. Good morning, wizard, said Poke. I see you're enjoying my mother's cooking. I'm Poke. The mage, who looked neither young nor old, nor tall nor short, but slim and average, smiled at him. Norbert Esquire. Is Poke your entire name, young man? No, I'm called Poke because I poke my nose where it doesn't belong. People call me a chatterbox. My real name is Erasmus Tate IV. My great-granddad was the Master Mage Erasmus Tate I. Poke surprised, the mage inclined his head respectfully in his direction. I know of him, the last Grand Master and the holder of the legendary Star of Joliness, the greatest of the Mage Stones. Poke stuck out his lip. It's gone, destroyed with my great-granddad when Joliness fell. Not necessarily. Lost, perhaps, but great stones are difficult to destroy, dear boy, and usually manage to find their intended masters. Most of them are sky-blue stones set in gold rings. A true star mage stone will shine a star in the middle of the stone at times. The stars are the most powerful of the mage stones. Poke shrugged as he swallowed his bread. Maybe, but the Tates are servants now. I'm master of nothing. Great-granddad cast a spell on his line, so the babes born to the power have tattoos of protection on them. Poke gazed at his small hands in disgust. Nary a tattoo. Plus, I'm a runt. Poke sighed as he poured himself more costly hot chocolate topped with whipped cream and sprinkled with cinnamon. The inn prided itself on its high butterfat content of their cow's yellow cream. White cream was inferior, and the Dancing Dragon Inn was first class all the way. Poke licked the cream off his lip and sighed with contentment. He glanced at the balcony, but there was no sign of his master. He was safe and well fed. Why can't I be the next great mage like my great-granddad? Jarvie has more magic than me, although he denies it. The wizard gazed over the brim of his mug at Poke and raised his eyebrows. Who, may I inquire, is Jarvie? Poke shuddered as a phantom rat crawled up his arm. The wizard flicked his fingers idly, and it vanished. Thanks, said Poke. Why is this place haunted all of a sudden? Norbert swallowed more hot chocolate. It's a curse, but I could do a better job of it. Mostly it's a bunch of little cantrips designed to frighten away the timid. Illusions, my dear boy. I suspect Pakashid and the crowing griffin did it. He was certainly eager for customers, but I prefer the dancing dragon, cursed or not. What about this Jarvie and magic? Poke giggled. Pakashid and Reagan Argus hate each other. Better not mention it to Reagan Argus. He'll have apoplexy. Jarvie, he has a magical talent. Oh, Jarvie Yates Argus is Reagan Argus' nephew. His mother died of a pox, and his late dragon-eaten father was a weather wizard. I think Jarvie's one, too. It rained all the way out on our trip from Jarvie's village, a fortnight's journey. But every time Jarvie complained about it, it stopped. Jarvie's in love with Yaneth, the barmaid. Master Reagan's liable to disinherit him if Master Reagan finds out. Jarvie's family has some relationship to the vanished Argus royalty. The Dumblets have the Melvish throne now, and it's far away. Yaneth has no father, no name, and no dowry to make Reagan Argus overlook her position. I mean, who'd want to be related to a Dumblot anyway? Master Reagan thinks it's a big deal, though. The rats now crawled everywhere. Norbert clapped his hands in annoyance, and the rats vanished. Poke sighed with envy. Perhaps young Master Argus drew me here, mused Norbert. Along with some family matters. Some latent magical talent called to me. It was a strong one. Poke sighed. I wish I had the Tate tattoos. I do have a way with animals, so I work in the stables. It's not fair. I want to be a great wizard and go on adventures. Norbert smiled mysteriously as he flicked a genuine spider off his flowing sleeve. It landed in the barbarian's mouth, who swallowed it, muttering in his sleep. Nothing wakes that mound of muscles, the wizard observed. Perhaps, Pope. The tattoos can only be seen in certain lighting or by those with mage sight. It wouldn't do to have a little boy covered in tattoos that screamed, "I'm a great mage!" on him for everyone to see. Poke drew in a sharp breath and started to reply when a bearded, portly man wandered into the room and, seeing no apparition, sat near Poke. Lad, are you the stable boy? Poke drew himself upright. I'm the head groom. The man frowned. You can't be more than 9 summers. I'm 12, Poke snapped. The stable boy is on duty. The man shook his head. He's not to be seen, and 2 of the guests' mounts are down. I'm lucky I don't have them. Poke turned pale and choked. Jumping up from the table, he raced for the stable. Well, he saw us send him running for Master Argus. Maybe the innkeeper wouldn't notice Jarvie's absence or the smell of chocolate and cinnamon on Poke's breath. Master! Poke yelled as he dashed in the kitchen. The mage's griffin escaped and ate the barbarian's warhorse. The unicorn has colic. The cow's dried up and your palfrey has thrown a shoe. The boy ducked aside as the pot came crashing by his head. I'm ruined, groaned Reagan Argus, wringing his hand. What kind of a head groom are you to let this happen, you little fool? I should beat you. He flung a kettle in Poke's direction. The boy dodged it with the agility of much practice. Yes, Master Reagan, I'm sorry, truly. Where's Jarvie? My breakfast is burned. The phantom rats are under the beds. There's a ghost in the pantry, and now this. Where is that rapscallion nephew of mine? How does he expect to inherit this place if he doesn't manage it? The man shouted, shaking his fist in Poke's face. The boy backed away as the stout innkeeper loomed over him, mustache bristling. Go find him, and he'd better not be with that low-born, penniless wench of a barmaid, or I'll fire her. Jarvie better remember that he's a prince in Melville. A prince of nothing, Poke thundered. He'd be headless in Melville if the Dumblets caught him. What did you say? I said, yes, Master Regan. Regan Argus groaned as he surveyed the kitchen. The chocolate is gone. If I get my hands on the thief that took it, he'll hang. That stuff is worth its weight in gold. Not even the traders know how it's made or from what. Pope ducked and scampered out of reach before his master decided to take his frustration out on him with a fist. Pope, why wasn't Shand attending the mounts last night? I don't know, Master. Pope backed away, bowing to avoid another pot that flew by his head. If the guest beasts are ruined, Shand is dismissed, but first he gets 5 lashes and you with him. Do you understand? Find Jarvie and get him to fix the situation. I don't care how he does it. Trembling, Pope scrambled out of the kitchen and raced upstairs to an attic bedroom. The boy knocked on the door. Jarvie, it's Pope. Your uncle wants you.